Hi there, Grace O'Donnell here, and here's my Pecha presentation on my life and my career. Starting from the very start in 1994 in Carrigaline, I grew up in my granny's house, but I was lucky to have two brothers, Jack and Dara, and a sister Aoife, who I saw every weekend in my dad's house. Growing up in a big family and living with different personalities and age groups has given me a good sense of awareness and judge of character. I earned my pocket money from doing the ironing, and I often babysat at the weekends. This has shown me the value of money and how to be responsible with finances from a young age. When I was 13, we moved to Crosshaven, and my mum married my stepdad Michael. After this, I got my new brother Liam and sister Amy. I grew up in a creative household as my mum went to art college, and me and my siblings were always drawing at the kitchen table. I always knew I wanted to work in a creative industry when I grew up. In secondary school, my favourite subjects were art, English, and Irish. I studied really hard in these subjects and I learned the value of hard work early on. We would create batiks, linos, and puppetry in art class, and I absolutely loved it. We went to Rome on a trip in fourth year, and 16-year-old Grace had never been so inspired. I began college directly out of Leaving Cert in 2013, and I completed 3 years of multimedia. Following the third year, I decided to defer and live in Edinburgh as I was unsure of what career path to take. I lived in Edinburgh for 2 years, freelancing and working in hospitality. From here, I moved to Sweden for a year. On my gap years in Sweden and Edinburgh, I did some freelance work, just some graphic design, editing, videography, that kind of thing. This was really hard work and not worth the little money I was getting. I decided I want some stability for my future, so I decided to come back to CIT and finish my degree. I'm still really interested in film photography though, a skill that I picked up in my time in Edinburgh. And just now I don't develop photos in the darkroom anymore, but there is still nothing like filling up a roll of film and getting those photos printed with the old age nostalgic look. When I decided to come back to college in 2019, I wanted to focus my attention on web design. In a web development module in the first semester of fourth year, I found an interest in UX and the psychology behind websites development. I enjoyed conducting user testing, getting feedback from clients, and altering the project to suit their needs. Another module I enjoyed this year was tangible computing. I created a bespoke tangible prototype using Arduino sensors and triggered a piece of digital content. I used an LCD, potentiometer, and ultrasonic sensor to trigger different images on a computer screen. Here I learned the basics of C++ and Java in order to edit the code source for the project. My final year project is an exhibition proposal to the Cool Planning Experience in County Wicklow. The project consists of two parts, a design document and a video, and the main aim of the project is to contribute to the awareness campaign of climate change within the scope of the fashion industry. The bulk of my project consists of user testing, which I really enjoy. I'm interested in pursuing a job in UX after I graduate. Based on my interest and skills that I have acknowledged in my career development plan, and from the new knowledge I've gained from the usability and UX module in final year and my final year project. I've also interviewed professionals in senior positions on LinkedIn and has confirmed my desire to pursue this career. I'm currently applying for 2 master's programs in Sweden, a master's in communication in Gothenburg and a master's in UX in Jönköping. From this, I hope to springboard my career into UX. I believe now is a really good time to study a master's as we have an impending recession. If I do not get accepted for a master's, I plan on doing an online UX course. As I love to travel, I plan on travelling around Canada as I have friends there. I hope to ski in Whistler and Vancouver, visit New York and Mexico. I would love to try to get an UX experience in Canada, but if I can't, then I'll use my hospitality experience to fund my travels before buying a house and settling down with a career. My 5-year plan is to spend the next 3 years studying and travelling. By the time I'm 31, I hope to be in a senior position in a UX job and to have bought my own apartment. In what country I see myself in is another thing, but once I'm successful in my career, I will be happy. To conclude, I have built on my creative skills learned from a child at the kitchen table in my bachelor's in CIT, and I hope to progress on these skills in a master's in Sweden. Hopefully, this time in 5 years, I will be in a senior position in a prestigious company in my dream UX job. Thanks so much for listening.